Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside. Thanks for joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. You know, this is the time of year when we have lots of options to really spend some time figuring out where we are and where we want to go. Sometimes we need to look a little farther back to see where we've been, and that's a good thing as well. I am so very glad to have some people with us here representing what's going to be a fantastic program. So we have Rob Seal, Pastoral Care and Men's Ministry of Covenant Church of Houma. Rob, welcome.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate you having us back.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Sitting next to him, Mr. Dylan Johnson, a student pastor at Covenant Church, so thanks, and we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right, and then sitting next to him is Billy Taylor, pastor of First Baptist Church over in Raceland.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Very
for
good.
having us.
Now listen, guys, this SOLA Men's Conference, I didn't realize is going on its 10th year. So Rob, tell us a little bit about how we've gotten here, and I want to hear that from the other guys as well.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, Keith, we've been doing this for 10 years, and the way we got here is it just kind of evolved to this point and kind of grew to this point, I'd say. We started smaller than we are now, but we are reaching out to some very prominent speakers as we've grown.
Right.
Thus, we have Lee Strobel this year.
Right.
But we've had through the years some very, very important speakers. We've had Johnny Hunt, who's very prominent in the Baptist circles.
Right.
A couple of years ago, we had General Jerry Boykin and Tony Perkins from the Family Research Council, and they were amazing.
Right.
We've had other just really super speakers through the years, and we've tried to see that we get better and better and better at what we do every year, Keith. Mm-hmm. We think we're getting better and better and better, and I think right now we've got our men's conference at a very, very high level. I think the guys that come to this love coming.
Right.
They grow. They're stretched. It's a very, very sweet thing that we've got going on. I don't think we're going to stop doing this.
I like it. Well, Dylan, tell me a little bit about your involvement and how long you've been involved and what that's meant to you.
Yeah, so I came in 3 years ago, so I missed the first 7, but even like my first year talking with Rob, I knew this men's conference makes an impact with the people in our church, but just in the community as well. And so that first year, really looking forward to it, and Rob's just involved me with being a breakout speaker and just helping with the flow of things. And so the past 3 years has just been so cool seeing the growth. And so I wish I could have seen it from the beginning, how things have happened, but it's been really cool.
Well, we've all got a beginning, and so
Yeah.
things get a little bit better as we get involved, and participate. It's kind of how it happened with the 12.
Yeah.
They got a little bit more involved. Some got a little bit more than others, and so we start wherever our starting point is, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
How about for yourself, Billy?
I've been involved the full 10 years. We used to take a group of men up, and they still do, take them up to Woodstock, Georgia, every year to a men's conference. And you would only reach 40 or 50 people from this community that would go to this men's conference in Georgia.
Right.
And me and Rob actually talked about it. Said, wouldn't it be great if we brought this to South Louisiana and do this same thing, and we can reach more people from South Louisiana from this.
Right.
So Rob's, I moved away. I retired from the Coast Guard, so the Coast Guard moved me away from here. But Rob would always keep in touch with him. Said, Billy, we're going to do the men's conference. He says, why don't you come and be a breakout speaker? And I gladly said yes. And I've been involved. I've missed a couple of years, but it's tremendous what happens during that short weekend.
Right. And again, what you guys do is you take this concept from other places and have brought the men's conference here. And so the SOLA Men Conference is going to take place on March 18th and 19th.
Right.
And next segment, we'll dig into those things. Jim, put that flyer up if you don't mind. It is entitled The Unexpected Adventures, the 2022 SOLA Men's Conference, and it takes place on March 18th and 19th. Again, if you want more information, you can go to www.solamen.com. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. But let's come back to you for a second, Rob, and talk about how this became the title, because I think it's a very inspiring story.
Sure. Well, I was talking to Lee Strobel, our featured speaker this year. He and I were talking last year, and we always pick a theme for the conference. Billy's got a shirt on from last year's conference. We call it Redeem the Time. So I'm looking for a theme for this year's conference, and I'm talking to Lee Strobel. Well, if you know Lee Strobel's story, he wrote the famous book, The Case for Christ. I think 5 or 6 million copies of this book has been purchased so far. And I was going to, it was kind of a dorky thing, really. I was going to say, how about the case for godly men, Lee? That was what I was going to roll with. And I think he was just trying to be nice to me. He goes, well, Rob, that seems a little narrow. Okay, so
Okay, I'm listening.
took a shot. But,
Right, yeah, I threw
so-
it out there. There's no bad ideas, right?
And so we kind of went back and forth a little bit. Then he finally says, look, I wrote a book called The Unexpected Adventure, based on the idea that when you become a Christian, it is going to be an adventure. It is not a boring life. And a lot of things are going to happen once you start living your life for Jesus that are truly unexpected. You didn't see that coming. And so he had, it's a manly theme too, the unexpected adventure. And so my man Sean Meir did a wonderful job of putting together our logo. I just love the logo that we've got. That's the kind of the background for the theme for this conference, the unexpected adventure. That's where that came from.
So Jen, put that back up if you don't mind. Again, the Unexpected Adventure is the SOLA Men's Conference. And so you can see there the importance, the 10th year of the SOLA Men's Conference. And it is going to take place at Covenant Church, which is here in Gray, on March 18th and 19th. And so for those of you watching at home and that's really gotten your attention for the Unexpected Adventure, again, Sean Meir did the graphics for it, which we appreciate. Talking a little bit about the SOLA Men's Conference, the 10th anniversary.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, very often they say when you get to 10 years, you've kind of gotten there. You know, when they say your marriage has been 10 years, you've kind of gotten there. You know, after 10 years wanting to get better and better, you guys have a really, really good program. Let's talk about what people can expect just with regards to what the options are and when that starts on Friday.
Right. Friday, we start everything at 5 o'clock with a wonderful pastelaia dinner. Man, these bubbas can do some cooking, man. And I mean, if we had it's hard to keep, food is not the key thing of the whole thing because it is that good. It is
right.
Excellent. We begin and end with food. We begin with pastelaia, we end with a big Cajun shrimp boil. So, yeah.
And boy, have I heard the compliments about that. Because as a foodie, people are like, hey, Keith, your shrimp are good, but you know what? You need to come out on Saturday and get these. So, which is enticing for people. But they need to know that the food is there to start and end.
Right.
Because we need nourishment.
Yeah. Well, I've heard it put this way, Keith.
Okay.
I've heard it put that the way to a man's soul might be through his stomach. So, we kind of roll with that, if you know what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, well, and that's the spin, if you will, that's
Yeah.
different from maybe going to a conference like this somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not going to get this kind of food
Not this
because
kind
it's
of
cooked
food.
by some of the very good cooks and chefs that y'all know in this area and,
Oh, yeah.
and who are
Well,
part
we
of
have
the
a
church.
cooking team at our church.
That's right.
And you don't get on a cooking team at our church unless you kind of know what you're doing.
Right. And
You can get on
unless
the eating team if you're me.
Okay, I got you.
get
So
on
you get invited to the eating team and the cooking team, and maybe not both, and there is a difference.
that's right.
And so that starts. I guess registration begins at 5 o'clock, along with that pastelaia dinner.
Yes, sir.
And then 6:30, you had mentioned Lee Strobel will be that keynote speaker on Friday.
He is. He's going to speak 3 times, once Friday night, twice on Saturday morning. And so we eat food first, and then at 6:30 we kick everything off, doors open, we're in. And we have our praise and worship team. They're going to be, they're going to be performing and playing praise and worship music. That'll last a
Beautifully.
little while, and then we will introduce Lee Strobel about 7 o'clock that evening.
Okay.
And he'll speak for about an hour, and then we'll finish up that evening with our first breakout period.
Yeah, and that breakout session is really helpful because what it does is you've got team leaders
I do.
to lead some of the breakout sessions. Dylan being one of those this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's exciting, right? Congratulation,
Yes.
if you will,
Yes.
graduating to that. And what that does is it allows you to kind of sit and process what you've heard and do that in the breakout session, right?
And expand and enhance it as well.
Right.
That, these guys have topics that's going to connect to what we're talking about with our overall theme.
Right.
And they're going to. Dylan is our student pastor. He ministers to the youth, and Billy's been at this a while, and he's a pastor in his own right in Raceland, and they can tell you about their breakout sessions that they're going to be doing. And we also have an outside breakout speaker coming from Lutcher. Dr. Stephen Beckham is going to do a breakout session
Yeah,
as well.
I
So
know
we have
who he
3
is.
breakout speakers, and we have 3 breakout periods.
Okay, and so people can kind of choose where they feel like they're being led to go.
Yeah.
Right? Dylan, let's talk a little bit about kind of preparing for that.
Yeah.
and praying about that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So I've loved being able to do the breakout sessions. Each year's just fun because I'm thinking of students and just preparing breakouts for them, but I'm also thinking about the men that are going to be there and how can we do a breakout that reaches both students and adults. And so it's been really cool. I've had guests kind of come in, had my dad before in Kentucky kind of live stream in for us to kind of have conversations
Oh, wow.
with dads and sons.
Wow.
And so just each year is just so fun thinking through, okay, what can we talk about that connects with the theme? And so I'm super excited for this year and the preparation that's been going into it. It's going to be really cool.
Okay, very good. And Billy, how about for you?
Well, Rob always asks me. He says, and I'd say, Rob, what's the theme of that conference again? And he'd want a name to put in his flyer. But it came to me immediately as rejoicing in the adventure. And
Wow.
that's and I guess we're going to talk a little bit later about what our session is going to be about.
That's
the
exactly right.
preparation and prayer that goes through that, and looking forward to the men that will come.
Wow.
And I love men, and I like to challenge men because I've been challenged in my life, and we all need to be challenged.
Yeah. Well, and it's really an important point. And I appreciate all three of you bringing that up. This is set up as the SOLA Men's Conference is for men.
Yes.
And so there's a reason for that, and we get challenged for that. There's lots of options for men and women to do different things, but this part for Friday and Saturday is really meant for the men. So maybe just a brief overview of what they can expect, Rob, on Saturday, because then I want to come back, and when we come back from this break, I want to let some of the women know what's available for them.
Sure
That's
thing.
going to be exciting this weekend too.
Right. Yeah. So Lee Strobel, our schedule is Lee Strobel speaks once Friday, twice on Saturday morning.
Okay.
And then we have 3 breakout periods. And we have, if you're an LSU fan, as I have been all my life, and you of a certain age, you surely know who Warren Morris is. And you kind of know who he is.
Right. Well, and so when I read that, and so I got the information and read that, now I'd like us to kind of close with this. Reading that, I will tell you there are certain defining moments in my life across all board, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. From a sporting standpoint,
Yeah.
I know exactly where I
too.
was when LSU was in that game and how down they were.
Yep.
And when Warren Morris came in and did what he did, and we'll leave that as a hanger,
As a teaser.
if you will. That is correct. And we'll talk a little bit more about Warren Morris. We'll talk a lot more about the program itself, and we'll spend some time talking about what it's like for the women
Yes.
who are wanting to be involved or wanting to be inspired by some of the options that we have with Lee Strobel as well. And if you mentioned, if you don't know who Warren Morris is, talk to your dad or somebody in the next generation, like Rob and I are, about what he did, and rather miraculous thing, if you
Was.
will. And he's just a great guy and a really great Christian as well.
He is. He is. He's in Alexandria, still
Right.
lives there.
Right.
From Alexandria.
Right.
But if you were an LSU fan in 1996, or if you've been an LSU fan all your life, I would make the case that him hitting that home run is a top 5 moment in the history of LSU sports, of all sports. It was just absolutely amazing. It's like you were saying, Keith, I know precisely where I was when that happened. I was in my old bedroom at my mom's house watching it with my brother, and just jumped through the roof when he hit that home run. It was tremendous.
And it was rather unlikely because he had missed most of the season with an injury.
He had.
And was a very good hitter, but they put him in as kind of a last-ditch effort, and it was remarkable. I was playing in the finals of a softball tournament in the winter bracket, and our entire team, some of the best baseball and softball players I played with, one of the guys with us, Benny Boudreau, played left field for LSU. He was with us on that team, and to see his excitement was just one of the most remarkable things. But we're talking about Warren, and he's going to be there on Saturday.
He is Saturday morning. He'll be there, and he's going to kind of give his Christian testimony. He's a wonderful fellow, great
Right.
Christian, just a soft-spoken guy, and just can't wait to have him talk to our fellows that morning. That's I don't miss that kind of moment.
And so several other breakout sessions, and finish with the shrimp boil, as you mentioned. That's at
Yes.
1:30. But there's something for the ladies as well, and I think we've got a video to let them know a little bit about what they can expect.
Yeah.
We're going to share that right now. Jen, if you don't mind, let's talk about that intro. So this is a little bit about the movie they're going to watch. So Rob, tell us a little bit about this, what can
Absolutely.
be expected Saturday.
These are parts from the Case for Christ movie, story about Lee Strobel's life. And we're going to have a very special event at our church Saturday evening at 6 o'clock. This was Lee Strobel's idea to do this. He's bringing his wife Leslie, who's instrumental in his story, and they will both be there. So what we're going to do is we're going to show the movie.
Right.
And it was so weird. Lee Strobel said, "Rob, can we have popcorn?" I'm thinking, I got Lee Strobel asking me, "Can we have popcorn?" Yes,
Right.
Lee, we can do popcorn.
Right.
So we're going to have that, and we're going to show the movie. And when the movie's over, we're going to have microphones set up in our sanctuary. I suspect it is going to be overrunning with folks.
Right.
And it'll be a Q&A session we're going to do.
Wow. Very nice. And again, that idea, thank you, Jen, we appreciate it. Just something that families can come out to.
Absolutely, it's for
The
everyone.
ladies and just a great inspirational story. And speaking of great inspirational stories, we want to make sure that people understand that there's an invitation to really come out and enjoy it. I want to share this other video with you, and it is the invitation from Covenant Church about what you can expect for the SOLA Men's Conference. Jen, let's roll that.
We are gearing up for this year's SOLA Men's Conference as we head out on the unexpected adventure. Join us on our quest for truth March 18th and 19th. Our guides for this journey include keynote speaker Lee Strobel, the world-renowned author of The Case for Christ.
Hi, I'm Lee Strobel, author of The Case for Christ. I'm also a co-author of a book called The Unexpected Adventure, and that's the theme of the 10th annual SOLA Men's Conference on March 18th and 19th. I'm going to be giving 3 talks at that conference, and we're going to be exploring a bunch of different ways that we as men can grow in our relationship with Christ, as well as how to be stronger salt and brighter light to an increasingly skeptical culture. So join me. I'll see you there.
We'll also have a special guest appearance by legendary LSU baseball hero Warren Morris. As we do every year, we have a stellar lineup of breakout speakers and, of course, the food, the pastelaia, the shrimp. Who knows what the Lord has planned for you to experience at this year's conference? In fact, the only thing you can expect is for an unforgettable adventure.
Thank you so much, Jim. We appreciate that. And guys, I don't know if that doesn't excite people about going to do something or get involved. Let's talk about how much it costs for a ticket.
Right. $60 general admission. Seniors and youth are $45.
Oh, very nice. Okay. And again, we put that up, put the flyer back up again. Want to let people know how you can get information for the SOLA Men's Conference. It's www.solamen.com. Got about 25 seconds left for each of you. Rob, your final thoughts.
Yep. Man, guys, come and join us. We're going to have a great time, and just anxious for everyone to come out for this. We put a lot of time and effort into it. Not for our benefit, it's for everyone else. So please come out and join us.
And it doesn't matter what faith you are. You
No.
can come and experience Christ in this way.
Right.
Dylan?
Yeah, this is something I look forward to every year. The past 3 years, one of the highlights of the year for me, just being together with men in the community, men in the church, just gathering together and just hearing from these incredible speakers.
Wow. I like Billy.
Paul said in the book of Philippians 4:12, I know how to get along with humble means, and I also know to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both of having abundance and suffering need. Paul said that, and the unexpected adventure is rejoicing. I'm going to be teaching on rejoicing in the adventure, and who you ride with matters.
Wow. And the perspective you take matters.
That's right.
And being able to be focused on whatever our destination is and not being worn out by whatever the journey is.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. This has been fantastic. Really excited about the option that people have. Friday the 18th, Saturday the 19th, and then Lee's going to join you guys in church the next day on Sunday and be available. So both there on Sunday. Guys, thank you so very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
God
Thank
bless
you.
All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming here on HTV.